Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for sort of a whip and chat. This is not really a whip and chat, although I guess maybe it is. I'm just, instead of rambling about my life and diamond painting, I'm going to be talking mostly about diamond painting. So before I jump into all of that and I talk to you about my 2 cents, I don't know if I should call it my 2 cents because I have way more thoughts than two. This is my response to Whitney Diamond Paint's video and some of the things that she was talking about concerning diamond painting influencers and why I don't consider myself one. So today, while I talk about that, I'm going to be working on my little baker kit. I'm so close to finishing it. I still have some more of the dreaded ABs to do, but I'm going to try and work on this section while I talk to you guys. So let me zoom in so you have something to watch while I blather in your ear. Don't go anywhere. I've reached the point in this diamond painting kit where I'm like, okay, I'm done with that color. It doesn't appear anywhere else on the canvas. Okay, now I'm done with that color. Now I'm done with this color. Still way more colors to finish with than I would like, but I am close to getting done. I think I counted it up and I have 12 sections left, which these sections are smaller than my diamond painting release paper sections, so hopefully it will go a bit faster. I'm trying to finish this before the weekend, but we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I've put in some pretty significant hours over the last couple of days, and I'm still behind where I want to be. So, okay, so I wanted to share with you guys my 2 cents about my thoughts and reactions to, well, the channel is Whitney Diamond Paints, but she had a video recently about diamond painting influencers. So, first of all, I am not here to cause drama or to dunk on anybody, a company, a person, a YouTuber. That is not the point. No drama llamas. I don't need any drama. I get plenty of drama in my real life. I don't need it in my YouTube. If you're all about the drama, this isn't the place. That being said, I just thought that she brought up some interesting points that I had never really thought about. I think I've told you guys before, my thinking tends to be very literal. Some of the stuff that other people think about just doesn't even occur to me. It's not even on my radar as a possibility. So it never occurs to me that somebody else might think that because it would never be anything that I would think of. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody has different experiences, and those experiences are what shape those opinions. You don't have to agree with everything I say, and I don't have to agree with everything you say. We're all different people, and that's cool. That said, let me remind everyone, don't be a jerk. Having got all of that out of the way, let's talk about the video and my reaction. First of all, YouTube and I think social media is a weird place in general because I think as you watch people on their YouTube channels, you feel like you get to know them. And so then when somebody does something that is something you wouldn't have expected from that person, you're taken aback. Some people feel betrayed. You lose trust in that person, but you don't actually know that person, right? They're just someone on a video screen in the case of YouTube. And I think, again, we all want to watch people that we feel like we can trust. But then, as always, money enters the picture and things change. So I personally have been doing YouTube for 5 years now. I think 5 years, almost 5 years, something like that. So you learn stuff along the way. That being said, I don't know what the rules are for getting monetized these days. When I started, it was you had to have 1,000 subscribers and so many watch hours. It felt like it took forever to get to those 1,000 subscribers. But when I did, man, that felt so good. All that hard work finally paying off, and now I can make some money off of it. But I think that a lot of people don't really understand how it all works. And as soon as you monetize, then there's suddenly all this pressure that you put on yourself internally and pressure that comes from other sources externally. So not as there only all the pressure that you put on yourself to continue doing what you're doing, something you hopefully like doing, and putting out good content, but then there's all this pressure from perhaps family, because if you're making money now, make more money because more is always better. There's pressure from perhaps other people around you, friends, colleagues. Oh, well, you did this, so now you should do that. And of course, there's pressure from YouTube. Okay, you've done all this to become successful. Now, have memberships, have this, have that, there's pressure to do more and more and more and more. And so I think for a lot of us, especially people who I hope some of you have been watching me from the very beginning, can suddenly feel like what happened to that person that they were at the very beginning. Now it feels like this completely different person. And what do I do with that? And there's people who started out doing this, and maybe they started out with the scrapbook channel and then they moved into a different hobby. Maybe they moved into cross stitch. Maybe they moved into pin working. Maybe they moved into leather working or 3D printing, or who knows? The options are endless, right? And so you're like, well, do I want to continue watching that person? You have a decision to make, right? Because you can only watch so many people. Time is not infinite. So you have to make decisions. So you're watching this person that you thought was a friend and now feels like a stranger because suddenly they're pushing you to buy this, look at that. Here's this sponsor, buy stuff from them, whatever it is. And like I said, when I was first able to monetize my channel, I felt really good about it. All that hard work finally paying off. And just to be transparent here, I am not currently earning anything off of my YouTube channel. I hopefully will be in the near future, but there's been some back end stuff because we moved countries and things like that that had to happen first. So I haven't done all of that. But that doesn't mean that I'm still not constantly getting emails for product reviews or YouTube pushing me to say, hey, turn this whatever it is on, have memberships on your channel, sell merch on your channel, do this on your channel. I think right now they're pushing collaborations. They've added some stuff on the back end for creators to make collaborating easier. So there is a lot of pressure when you start introducing money into the equation. Just a list of what you can do if you have a YouTube channel and you want to make some revenue from it, because I don't think everybody understands just how many options there are. So, just from YouTube alone, and I think most of these are things that I never, well, I won't say never, but so you can have channel memberships, which I'm sure you've seen from other people, sort of like a YouTube Patreon where basically you join and get a membership and you can get various perks. I think you get some free emojis, sorts of things. I don't know if those are set up by the creator or what, because I've never done memberships. But basically, more content that you're producing, but that is only available to paid subscribers. You can do video sponsored ads where a company either sends you a product for a product review, or they just say, here, talk about our product, and they give you like a QR code. That's the in thing these days. Everybody has a QR code. Scan here, use my affiliate code, get a discount, that sort of thing. You can sell your own merch. There's a quick and easy way to hook up a YouTube shop to your channel. You can do super thanks, which are essentially just donations to your channel. So, especially people who do a lot of lives, like my husband watches a couple of weather channels. If you guys have ever heard of Ryan Hall, y'all, and there's a couple of other ones that he watches. When they're doing their YouTube lives, there's a donation button, a super thanks button. I think it's a heart. And you can just make a straight up cash donation. If you do a lot of shorts in addition to long form videos like I do, you can make money depending on how popular your shorts are. Same sort of thing with the ad revenue that you can get with long form videos, and then collabs with other YouTubers. Again, I don't think I did make a couple of shorts. I've done some PR reviews, obviously. But other than that, I don't have memberships. I don't have sponsored ads. I don't sell merch. I haven't done any collabs, all that kind of stuff. Not saying that I won't do any of those in the future, but so far I haven't done any of those things. And then I sat down and I tried to make a list of ways besides YouTube and all that kind of stuff that I just listed. What other ways could you make money with a YouTube channel? And after I started making a list, I'm like, wow, there's actually quite a lot of ways. So, in addition to the ad revenue and donations, the super thanks, and memberships, and all that stuff, there's also, of course, lots of people also have a Patreon, and people do their Patreons differently. I know one YouTuber who uses it as sort of a think tank. He has Patreons and he will get on and do like a live video with people and talk about ideas for his next videos and kind of have a brainstorming group think tank session. There are other people who just put videos out there that only the Patreons are allowed to see, sort of the same thing as memberships. So sometimes I don't understand why people do memberships on YouTube and Patreon, but hey, money's money, right? A lot of people do Ko-fi or buy me a coffee. I had a Ko-fi, but it was mainly for donations, and I don't have it anymore. Same thing with Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any other social media. If you have a big enough following, you can get paid for posting. I think I finally hit that threshold with the group at one point, but I have zero interest in giving Meta any of my personal information, so I won't be doing that. But it is a way that you can make money. So if somebody has a really large group or something, they could be making money just off posting. I don't know how all of that works either, but it's a way, right? Of course, there's product review items. You can get free stuff. Like I said, I get emails on an almost daily basis from people that, hey, we like your channel. We want you to review this. We'll send you this free thing. And honestly, 99% of it is junk. I would say that a lot of emails I don't even respond to. I simply delete them because it's for stuff that has nothing to do with diamond painting. People wanting me to review TVs or lamps, or what did I get the other day? Some kind of, I can't even remember what it was. I want to say it had something to do with a spa, like a hot tub. I don't have a hot tub. Never mentioned a hot tub, I don't think. So some of these people, it's like you clearly have never watched my channel to know what it's about. So I don't even bother wasting my time responding. I just delete them. But of course, then there are people, I've gotten emails from people asking me to review kits. I've gotten emails from people asking me to review tools and accessories. I've got emails asking for lots of things. It is free marketing for, well, I say free marketing. It's marketing. It's a marketing expense for companies, right? They send you the items for free. You talk about them. That's lots of word of mouth, especially in a very niche, small community like diamond painting. Finding somebody that can get the word out there if you're a new company or you have a new product or something is a way to get your name out there and to get some advertising, right? And if all it costs you is a couple of free kits, that's probably nothing. So you can get free stuff, which is, I think a lot of people get into doing diamond painting channels just because they think, oh, I'm going to be inundated with free stuff. And maybe you will be, I don't know. I mean, I get lots of options for free stuff, but I don't take all of them, and I'll get into why in a little bit. And these are all reasons that I don't consider myself an influencer. I didn't, well, if I'm totally honest, did I open this channel to make money? Yes. I also love diamond painting and I wanted to share what I was learning with other people. But I did want to make money. I thought this would be a nice kind of small retirement income for me when my husband stopped working. If we wanted to travel, I could still diamond paint from wherever we were, whether that was a hotel, an airplane, an RV, the car, whatever. And I've proven that I can diamond paint and film in all of those places, some much easier than others. But I did not set out to make this my entire income. So I probably have treated it less like a business than most people would because of that. If I had set out to do this and make this my full-time job, then I could have very easily turned into one of those people who is pushing everything. Here, look at this new product. Here, look at that new product, because those are ways you get paid, right? Not only do you get the free stuff, you can get commissions from affiliate codes. I've had a couple of people offer me affiliate codes and I think I've posted them, but I've never collected on any of the affiliate codes that people have given me. You can get rewards from reviews, right? Like at some companies, if you leave a review of a kit, that earns you points in their VIP club or rewards club or whatever it's called. So leave a review, right? That's a way, it's not necessarily money in your pocket, but it is points that you can use in lieu of money. So, sort of the same thing. People who have gotten free kits Maybe you open them up and unbox them on your channel, and then it's not a kit that you're interested in doing, and so you decide to destash the kit and sell it for money. I've never done that, so I don't know how people do that, but I know that it exists, that there are people out there who get free items, unbox them, that's all they're going to do with them on their channel. They turn around, sell them in a destash group, and then they use that money for whatever, whether it's buying more diamond paintings or bills or whatever. It's a way to make money. And then one of the things that Whitney brought up that I wasn't really aware of, and again, I probably should have been, that some people are being paid directly by companies, which of course they are. Why that never occurred to me, I don't know. Do I wish I could be one of those people? Yes, but also no. While it would be nice to get paid directly from a company for just doing things that I already do, that also comes with a lot of strings. Some people are okay with those strings, some people are not. It depends on what those strings are, right? Because, well, I'll get into that in a minute. So, tons of ways, like I said, that you can get paid, whether that's directly from YouTube, whether that's from other social media, whether that's from a company, whether that's getting paid in product, whatever that may be. I mean, even people who are like my husband watches a lot of channels where they're reviewing things that he's thinking about buying, like a battery pack, a whole house backup generator system, camera equipment, people who review phones. Some of these tech reviewers, have 15, 18 phones because they get all of the new ones from all of the companies when they come out if they're a big enough reviewer. So, what do they do with all of them? I don't know. I mean, I would assume you could sell them. If the company has given them to you and you fulfilled whatever your contract was for a video or whatever, then that's good. So for me, I just find it easier. I just assume that every YouTuber is getting paid, especially anybody who has over 1,000 views or 1,000 subscribers. I just assume they're getting paid. I don't even know if that's the threshold anymore, but that's my assumption. If you're on there and you're somebody who's posting on a regular basis, you're probably doing it to make money. Even if you're not doing it as a full-time job, you're still doing it to make money. I'm not a big enough channel, but I'm assuming there's probably, people who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers or millions of subscribers. They probably get paid directly by YouTube for some of the stuff that they're doing. So I just find it easier to assume everybody's getting paid. However, they're doing that, whether it's because they have memberships or they're getting ad revenue or they have sponsored ads or whatever it is. That said, just because someone is getting paid doesn't necessarily mean that they're only getting paid to leave a positive review. That can be true in a lot of places. I certainly have gotten a lot of offers for reviews that have said, here, we'll send you this thing. And then after you give us a positive review, and after you leave us a positive Amazon review, and after you do this, and after you do that, then we'll pay you X. And it's like, no, I have never done that. I have always, I have a little letter. Once I got monetized and people started asking me to do those sorts of things, I came up with a form letter that I send to everybody when I first start working with them. And I tell them, that I'm going to give it an honest review. If I think there's something wrong with the product or something I don't like about it, I'm going to say so. If there's stuff that I do like about it, I'm going to say that too. But it's going to be an honest review. They don't have any say over what my content looks like. I also don't allow companies to dictate when I post things because there's a lot of companies will be like, well, you need to have this posted by such and such date. And sometimes, like if there's a release date or something, then that's understandable. But a lot of times, especially if it was not for like new release kits or whatever, it's like you don't get to dictate when I have this done by. I get to it when I get to it. You don't get to tell me what I have to put in the title. You don't get to tell me what I have to put in the description. I don't need an affiliate code, all that kind of stuff. I was just very upfront with people. These are my rules. And if you don't like them, then I am not the person for you. Go elsewhere. And a lot of them did. It can be a very slippery slope. Like I said, I do think that a lot of people in any hobby, not just diamond painting, see YouTube as a way to make some money off of their hobby and or get some free stuff. But people who are just in it for that don't last very long because it's not easy. It's not easy to produce quality content. It's not easy to produce consistent content on a regular basis because it's not just as simple as, oh, I recorded this video, I'm going to slap it up on YouTube and I'm done. Not if you want it to be good. So you have to learn about lighting, which I'm still learning and dealing with. My lighting is not always the greatest, and I struggle with that sometimes. You have to learn about audio. How do you make yourself sound good? What things do you need to do to make it so that it's crisp and clear? You're not stumbling over your words. It does take some practice. Then you have to learn about filming. What should I film it at? Do I zoom in? Do I zoom out? And I just realized I forgot to set my autofocus. So that was probably annoying you while I was talking. I'm sorry for those of you who were actually watching. Anyway, like I said, there's lots of stuff to learn. So with the cameras that I'm using, I have to look at, and the microphones, how do I make them work the best for what it is I'm trying to do? Because for me, my filming setup is going to be completely different than somebody that's filming, say, a lifestyle blog or somebody who's filming a cooking blog. And then you have to learn, once you're done filming, how do I edit this? How do I make it look good? How do I make good thumbnails? How do I post it? What format do I need to use? And then how do I make it so that the YouTube algorithm finds me and promotes me to other people? Because that is where you get most of your subscribers from. It's people that the algorithm says, hey, you watch this video, maybe you would like this one. And that's how a lot of people, me included, have other people finding our channel. So it's not, like I said, it's not just as simple as taking a video and then slapping it up there and you become famous and rich. Maybe that happens for some people. That's not how it worked for me. And I just realized I forgot to turn on my timer. You guys, I'm so off my game today. I don't consider myself a diamond painting influencer. I don't know. I mean, I could name off some people that I would consider a diamond painting influencer, but honestly, I don't watch most of those people. So, how much are they influencing everybody else? I don't know. I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm out of the loop. Sometimes I'm out of the loop on purpose for the purposes of avoiding drama. One of the complaints that I read, because I read through a bunch of the comments on Whitney's video as well, and there were lots of people complaining. Somebody was complaining about bigger YouTubers stealing smaller YouTubers' ideas. Does that go on? I'm sure it probably does. I know YouTube itself encourages you to do that. One of the things that they will tell you is if you want to make good content, go find a video that was popular in your niche and do your own version of that video. So, does everybody need a tutorial on how to diamond paint? Probably not. Probably one would have been sufficient, but everybody has their own take on stuff. So, whatever. Does that mean I'm stealing somebody else's idea because I made a video on beginning to diamond paint? I don't think so. But other people may view it differently, especially if you're a smaller channel creator who is struggling and then it feels like this much larger channel took your idea and ran with it. I think in that case, I would view it as, obviously my reach is smaller, so my views would be smaller. But is there something I can do to improve on it? Can I make it even better? Is there something I could have done? Because quite frankly, there are days where you're like, oh, I should need to put out a video. What do I need to do? I'll do this, I'll do that. But there are only so many kinds of videos that you can make. So let me jump around here because I'm not going in order. So I'll probably forget something, but that's okay. Let me talk about that first. Different types of videos, because people were complaining that so many of the channels were just the same stuff. And I don't know if they were specifically complaining about unboxings or if they were just complaining that a lot of people were making the same kind of content. I don't know how you avoid that, especially in a very small niche like diamond painting. I mean, for instance, if you're doing a stitch along, you're all stitching. So how different are your videos going to be? Do you know what I mean? So I sat down and I'm like, okay, as a diamond painter, what are the kinds of videos that I could make? And my list is, of course, an unboxing. Then you have a kit up and possibly a kit down. You have a completion, finish, review of a diamond painting that's been completed. You could do storage, whether that's spare drill storage or storage for other things, tools, accessories. There's the tools themselves, pins, trays, all kinds of things, right? Cover minders, all the accessories that go along with diamond paintings, putty, wax, whatever. You can do whip-in chats. You can talk about your stash. I've seen people do like a month in review kind of thing. Here's all the kits I finished this month. I've seen people do whip parades. That's a thing that's come across recently. People just, here's all the diamond paintings that I'm working on this month, but I didn't finish. So I guess sort of a month in review, but with no finishes. You could do tips and tricks. You could do tutorials. You could do comparisons. What other kind of videos are out there if you're a diamond painter? Just, am I missing a big category? I mean, those are the ones that I can think of. But the way that people were talking, so many people were just hating on unboxings. And I'm like, I couldn't tell if it was because it was that they found the unboxings themselves boring, or if it was because they were just frustrated and annoyed that it felt like that's all the person ever did on their channel. Because Whitney mentioned this thing about drills on the canvas. It's fine to unbox a kit, but how do you know what it's really like until you actually start putting drills down? For new to me companies and stuff, I think that's accurate. I would want to know what they were like. That being said, I have bought plenty of kits that I knew nothing about the companies, and it turned out okay. I've really only had, I think, two, possibly three kits that I didn't complete. One, I just simply ran out of time. The other two, the drills were so bad, I was just like, I can't. I'm going to make myself insane if I try to do this. I had other options. I could have subbed in spare drills and all that kind of stuff. So, whatever. But anyway, they were talking about unboxings. And so, my question was, are unboxings boring? Is it because people only want unboxings of new releases? It's only interesting if it's a new kit? Because if it's an older kit, everybody's already seen it. I don't watch a ton of diamond painting channels, like I said, because I don't have a ton of time and I have other channels that I prefer to watch. Also, so many people complaining about having their ideas stolen that I just thought, well, if I'm not watching you, then you can't say that I stole your idea. I mean, they still could. It doesn't make any difference. But again, just me trying to avoid the drama. So, are unboxings boring? I mean, someone else commented about there being 30-minute unboxing videos, and I was like, unless it's like a Josephine wall with tons of colors, how do you have an unboxing video that long? There's just not enough stuff, unless you have a ton of colors to talk about or something, unless I'm missing something. So leave me a comment down below. Are there other types of videos for diamond painting that I am missing? One of the things they were talking about in the comments on her video was that they wanted to see more drills on the canvas and more completion videos. That there seemed to be so many people who were just unboxing things and then basically, I guess, unbox, do a video, throw it in a de-stash group, make some money off of it, get some more free stuff, wash, rinse, repeat. I mean, more power to them if they're getting free kits from a company that is allowing them to do that. But again, a lot of those kinds of contracts come with strings. I don't know what kind because I've never been offered one of those, but it stands to reason that there would be strings attached. Because obviously, if you're having someone, what's the word I'm looking for? If someone's promoting your product, you don't want that person also promoting your top competitor, right? I mean, that only makes sense for the companies, not the YouTubers. So when they were talking about the unboxings, they were talking about people leaving reviews that have never put any drills on the canvas. And again, I'm just so literal. It never occurred to me that people were doing that. Again, duh, of course they are. But I personally never leave a review on a kit until I've actually completed it, which means that sometimes it's 4 years later before I get a review out there. So does it matter? I mean, I've still gotten points for some of my reviews at various companies, even 4 years later. I approach this more like a hobby that I make a little bit of money from rather than this is my business/employment and I need it to make a full-time income for me. I mean, that would be nice, but I don't need it to. And everybody has their own way of approaching things, like I said. So Something else they mentioned, I think these are just random things as they pop into my brain right now. When I started this, like I said, I wanted to make a little bit of money from it, but it wasn't ever intended to replace, to be like a full-time income. So I think that makes a difference to how I approach things. I just, for a lot of it, it was like, oh my gosh, I found this cool thing that I really, really enjoy, and I want to share all the things. Let me try all the things, and then let me share what worked for me and what didn't. I was in no way trying to be an influencer and influence people one way or the other. I was simply saying, hey, I tried this, it worked, I loved it, or I didn't and it sucked, or it was just meh. And not everybody works the same way that I do. So not everybody is going to enjoy the same things that I do. Clearly, we all have different tastes when it comes to just even the images that we diamond paint. Lots of people like the dark, spooky, gothic, Halloweeny type stuff. That's just never been my jam. I am much more into the bright colors, cartoony type stuff, mythical creatures, fantasy, that sort of thing. Other people like landscapes, and that's all they ever do. I think I've done for sure one, no, I've done two. I did Grandiose Greece and I did my Vibrant Italy for the Pinson, the Chuck Along. I was trying to call it the Pinson Along, and I was like, that's wrong. The Chuck Along. But I think those are basically the only ones that I've done that I can think of anyway that I would consider a landscape. Because I just tend to pick more colorful, cartoony type stuff, like this current kit that I'm working on. I am absolutely loving this kit, even if I find all of the white ABs in the windows super duper annoying. The rest of it is fun enough to make up for that. Any other random thoughts? Oh, somebody was talking about extra stuff and unboxings. I think Whitney did a short of this too. Like people opening a video to unbox it and having all this extra like stickers and candy and upgraded toolkits and that kind of stuff. So people order it expecting that they're going to get that, and then they just get the standard toolkit. And I thought, I've had people include stickers and candy and that kind of stuff. I don't know if I've ever gotten an upgraded toolkit, but it's possible. But I guess I just assumed that people would know those were extras because it was a product review, because you have to disclose that it's a product review. So you get a little pop-up on the ad or on the video saying includes paid promotion, right? Because this person either got paid via cash or they got something like a product in exchange for the video review. And again, does that necessarily mean that their review is not going to be honest? No. It does muddy the waters a bit, and I can completely understand that. But people are trying to make money. Okay, so then let me talk about some of the other complaints that people had. And if you find this video boring, feel free to leave me a comment that you find this video boring. I just, like I said, I had enough people respond that they'd be interested in my 2 cents that I was like, well, again, these are just things that with my literal type A brain just never occurred to me. And so I was like, as she was saying some things, I was like, huh, that happens? Okay, well. So a big complaint was people putting things behind a paywall, whether that was behind a YouTube membership or a Patreon membership or whatever. Again, people and businesses are here to make money. Do some of the marketing and sales things that they do suck? Yeah. Is some of it unethical? Yeah. As long as it's not illegal, that they're going to do it. There's a tech CEO who has said that exact thing. It might be immoral, it might be unethical, but as long as it's not illegal, right? That's the important thing to them. So again, complaints about memberships, whether that's Patreon or YouTube or whatever it is, about content being behind a paywall. I already talked about other channels complaining that their ideas were stolen. I try to look at it as that old quote, imitation is a form of flattery, right? And again, so many things are not new. Like I said, everybody has a intro to diamond painting, intro to cross stitching, intro to woodworking, whatever it is, right? Everybody wants a place for somebody to get started in the hobby. So that kind of stuff cannot be new. But again, you are encouraged to go out, well, what kind of content is popular? Make content like that. I try to look at it again as I must be doing something right if somebody wants to imitate what I'm doing. I'm not watching most other people, so I wouldn't know anyway, but whatever. Complaints that YouTubers don't respond to questions or comments. That one is a tough one for me. I mean, I get that. If you are someone who left a comment or a question, you're interested in hearing back from that creator. And that's a great way for the creator to build a community, is to answer and respond to those kind of things. But also, creators are people. They don't have unlimited amounts of time to sit around and respond to comments if they're going to continue making content. I have a small enough channel that I don't get millions of comments on every single video. So I have the time and the luxury of that time of responding to comments. And I try to do that. But if I got to the point where I had a much larger channel and I had 50,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, more than that, how do you respond to that many people? You can't. You just physically can't. So that is something I've often considered as my YouTube channel has grown. Is there ever going to be a point where I'm like, for the first 5 hours this video is live, I'll respond to comments, and then after that, nothing, because I've got to move on to all the other things that I'm doing. And maybe it's not even 5 hours. Maybe it's the first 2 hours or the first 30 minutes, depending on how big your channel is, what your life is like. Especially if you're someone who this isn't a full-time gig. I've only got X number of hours before I've got to be at work, and I need to do X, Y, and Z before I get out the door. So I think that's a tough complaint for some people. The other comment that I thought was really interesting was, and this goes back to people asking for more reviews. They want to see more finished diamond paintings, which I don't disagree with. I think it's cool to see the finishes and see, especially if people made changes or embellishments and things like that. I think it's interesting to see. Also, it looks different with drills on the canvas. It just does. So you never know. But some of the people were complaining that these YouTubers were just doing it to get free stuff. So you unbox this free diamond painting kit that you got. You then put it up on your D-Stash site and sell it, and the cycle begins again. And I'm sure that's true for some people. I don't personally understand it because I like to diamond paint. I mean, all the kits that are left in my stash are kits. Well, I shouldn't say that. I do have some PR kits left, but with the exception of like maybe 4 or 5 kits, all of the kits are kits that I purchased because I like the image and I wanted to do them. I don't intend to just unbox them on my channel and never show anything. But sometimes that does happen. Sometimes I unbox it and I just think, this is not maybe what I thought it was going to be. This is something that I bought 3 years ago, and at the time I thought I liked it, but now it doesn't really go with anything that I have. I don't have anywhere to put it. It's just an image I don't like anymore for whatever reason, so I don't really want to work on it. So there can be reasons. If you're somebody who's just unboxing diamond painting after diamond painting after diamond painting, then yeah, I would question what are you doing? But also, I can just not watch that channel. That is always an option. And it does, I think, feel bad. I think it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths when it's obvious that somebody is doing it just for money. I don't know, maybe because diamond painting is a hobby and it's not like other things. I mean, clearly, like people who review computers and phones, are they doing it so that they can get some of that cool stuff? Yeah. Are they doing it so they can get money? Yeah. But I think they get more leeway about that kind of thing than maybe in the diamond painting community. I don't know. Maybe it's because it's a hobby. What do you think? And I also think that, again, I think viewers approach this very differently than creators. I assume, like I said, most people are doing this to make money. If they can make more money by having all the things, the Patreon subscription, the channel memberships, the affiliate codes, getting paid directly by a company, whatever it is, then they're going to do that because they're trying to make money to pay their bills, right? I mean, they might be using that money for other things too, but I don't think most YouTubers are in it to become billionaires. That's an unreasonable thought in the first place. I mean, I'm sure some people manage it, but that's not why I'm here. I have zero interest in being the next big thing on YouTube. Does that mean that I don't want to continue making my channel and making good quality content? No. But it does mean that I'm realistic that this is a very kind of niche hobby, even amongst hobbies in general. So its appeal, the appeal of the channel is going to just be a lot less because there are less people into this as a hobby. And I do think that sometimes all the complaints that people have are a bit of sour grapes. People being upset because this person got that for free and I had to pay for it. Well, yes, they did, but also they spent time, effort, energy, and probably some money making the videos, right? Getting all the equipment to film is not cheap. And I think too that people need to remember that it's not just the YouTubers, it's the businesses as well. The whole point of a business is to make money. If you don't make money, then you're not going to stay in business. So, how do you do that? You advertise so that people that know about your products and might be interested in them know where they can get them from. And there are some not very nice tactics that are used, the whole FOMO thing, the artificial scarcity, buy this now or it won't be available. And I will admit, I fell into that trap at the very beginning. Oh my gosh, I've got to get this. It's only going to be out for this long, blah, blah, blah. And after a few years, you learn, well, it's probably okay if I miss that one. At least I'm okay with it. Maybe I'm more easygoing than other diamond painters. I don't know. But I will say I have very few, if any, unicorn kits. I figure if I'm meant to have it, then it will show up when I'm ready to buy it. And if I see something that I like and I end up not purchasing it, then that probably means I really didn't need it. And again, I try to look at this as not that I watch a lot of diamond painting quote unquote influencers, but even if I did, I look at it as this is no different than, say, professional athletes who make commercials and promote products like pop or soda or really sugary cereals or food that they would never in a million years actually eat themselves because they need to stay healthy. But they'll take money from that business to advertise because they got bills to pay, right? And then I think as a creator, you run into these people who, for whatever reason, whether it's because they feel like they know you or whatever, feel entitled to tell you as a creative person what to do, when to do it, how to do it, because they watch your channel. And so, therefore, you exist because they deign to watch your channel, which honestly is frustrating because they're not wrong. Yes, people watching your channel helps you do better. But if you don't like what someone is doing, why are you watching them? Like, if you're constantly watching a video or a creator and you're getting annoyed or frustrated because you feel like they're being pushy about merch or subscriptions, or you think they're not being honest or whatever, I don't understand why you keep watching them. I don't personally get it. I mean, if I get to a point where I've subscribed to a channel that maybe I just stumbled across them and I was like, oh, well, I'll watch it for a little bit, see what it's about. And then after I watch it for a bit, I decide, I really don't like this channel. You know what I do? I unsubscribe. That whole don't be a jerk thing. I don't leave comments about this person wasting my time. I don't leave snarky or rude comments about, this should have been done better. Why didn't you do this? Your camera should be over here. I don't like that. You should do it this way. Cool. Have your opinions. You don't have to voice every thought in your head. If you don't like what somebody is doing, and that includes me, if you think my channel is boring, don't watch it. No one is forcing you to watch it. If you feel like it's a waste of your time, move on. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I am well aware that I am not everybody's cup of tea. Same goes for me. Everybody is not my cup of tea. So if I watch somebody and then decide, this isn't really my jam, I unsubscribe and I move on. Problem solved. Again, I think people like that forget to take into account it's not like, at least I'm not. I guess I shouldn't speak to other people, but I don't think most video creators, YouTubers, are spending 20 seconds on a video, slapping it up there, and expecting it to have 9 million views. I am filming, editing, posting, constantly trying to learn new things. There's behind the stuff scenes going on. And that's true of any channel, not just diamond painting. If it's a travel channel, for instance, they've had to work out their itinerary and think ahead of what kind of shots do they want to get, what locations are they going to, what kind of How are they going to edit all of it together to make a coherent film at the end of it? So it's not just, hey, I sat down and made a video. I mean, there may be some of those in there, but lots of people actually write scripts for their videos before they do them. I think it's very easy to forget that as you're watching this, it takes effort. It's not easy and it's not instant. So I don't think there's anything wrong with people wanting to be paid for their time in creating videos, whether that's in products or ad sponsorships or directly from companies or whatever. I'm okay with that. But if it's somebody that I want honest reviews on, then yeah, I'm going to think twice when it's a review from a company that is likely either providing the products for free, providing an affiliate code for commissions, or just straight up paying the person, or perhaps all three. I've told you guys that I always gave my honest reviews. You are free to believe or disbelieve that. It's the truth, but I'm not in your brain. You can decide for yourself. What were some of the last thoughts that I have? The last thing she talked about, and I don't remember if this was in the video or in the comments, but they were talking about the age old licensed versus budget diamond paintings. And I will just say again, for me, I try to stick with licensed or public domain stuff simply because I have a YouTube channel and copyright infringement is a thing that can get me in trouble with YouTube. And when I was making money from it, I didn't want to risk that. Some people don't care, and that's up to them. It's their channel, so I'm not worried about their channel. But if you don't have a YouTube channel, then it's your money. Spend it on what you want. Do I prefer that companies would not copy things? I mean, I see plenty of Disney images being stolen. I see plenty of things like the NFL, soccer or slash football teams in the UK, royalty likenesses, just everything, cartoons, everything. But copyright is complicated even in the US. And then if you add in that it's crossing borders, every country has its own copyright laws, and then it just gets really, really messy. So unless you're a very big company who can afford to hire lots of lawyers and lots of different companies, sometimes there isn't a whole lot you can do. And I mean, there have even been cases of people on YouTube having their videos stolen and basically reposted somewhere else as if it was that person's video. And if it's happening in another country, unless you're out there actively searching for it, how would you know? Like if someone's an artist and someone's stealing their art to make diamond paintings, if they don't know about diamond painting, they wouldn't even know to look in that arena. And if they were just an individual who is just starting out, they don't have the resources to try and fight some of these big companies. So I think it has to be a personal decision. For me personally, do I want to buy licensed kits so that I feel like I'm contributing to actual human artists? Yes, that's what I want to do. But it's complicated. Add into the fact that there are people out there who think that just because it's on the internet, that means it's public domain, which is not true at all. But there are people who believe that. There are lots of factors that go into that consideration for people, and everybody's different again. So I can't make that decision for you. You can't make that decision for me. People buy from budget companies because you get more bang for your buck. If I can buy one kit for $120 and I can buy 50 kits for that same $120, I'm probably going to buy 50 kits. If all I care about is the process, and that's what is important to me, and it's important that I have lots of kits and I don't run out. And you could argue that bigger kits take more time. Yep, they do. You could argue that you get what you pay for. Yep, you do. I'm not arguing that either. Licensed companies tend to have better quality kits, but that's not to say that that's the first consideration for everybody. A lot of people, like I said, are doing this for the process. It's the process that's appealing, not the finished product. Quantity versus quality is a different answer for them. And we're not all in the same financial situation. So I just look at it as it's not my money. Yes, there's a whole moral, ethical dilemma about you're taking money out of artists' pockets, but I think AI in a lot of ways is a bigger threat for that than diamond paintings. I mean, it's sort of been good in a way because now companies can generate images and they're not copyrighted. So they're not stolen images. But that means that one, they can do away with actual human artists, which is not a great thing in my opinion. Two, they can mass produce them much more rapidly. So you are just inundated with a bunch of these images that are all slightly similar. And I had a three, but now I don't remember what it was because I'm old. So yeah, I think it's a personal decision. I want to support local artists or human artists, but that was something I was thinking about too, because somebody, and I think this was in a comment too, somebody said, well, how much does anybody know how much the artists are actually making off of some of these? We get told, well, these premium kits are more expensive because we're paying the artists. Okay, but how much are they paying the artists? Like, I would be really interested to know some figures behind, like, what's their actual cost per kit? How much of that is being spent on marketing and advertising versus what's actually being paid to an artist? And again, I'm sure there's NDAs out there, so I doubt I will ever know, but I would be curious because, first of all, what's the markup? Like, I mean, some of these markups seem like they would be crazy, but who knows? There's differences in staff and programs and the way people produce their products. And so who knows? But I'd be interested to know how much of what I'm spending on a licensed kit is actually making it into the artist's pocket. Because maybe it's not as much as I think it is, or as much as I want it to be. So that's something for me to think about too. And odds are, if it's a smaller company, there's probably, in my mind, a bigger chance that the artist is being fairly compensated versus some bigger companies. That's just my feeling. That doesn't make it true. But I'd be curious. Certainly would be curious to know. The last thing that I thought I would mention, I don't know that anybody mentioned this. I think somebody did perhaps in the comments of the video. But if they didn't, this was something that's been on my mind for a while now, and that is the overconsumption. Because for a lot of these, again, quote unquote influencers, it's to get you to buy, 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 buy. So that's how we all end up with these big stashes because you don't take into account how long it's going to take you to do one of these diamond paintings that you buy. Or you're like me and you just don't pay any attention to the sizes, and at the end of it you realize that all you've got are like 100 by 90 paintings that are each one's going to take you like a month and a half or more. Anyway, so because of the FOMO and the scarcity marketing and all that kind of stuff, people at the beginning start to hoard. I think as you get deeper into and the longer you continue to diamond paint, you kind of get over the FOMO and the hoarding and my stash is too big and all that kind of stuff. Because I know for myself, I certainly bought way too many kits when I was first starting out. But I also did the same thing when I started other hobbies, when I started miniature painting, when I started crocheting, when I started cross stitching, when I started fabric painting, ceramic painting, whatever it is. But I feel like some of my overbuying was due to the fact that it was a new hobby that I was jumping into and I needed to try all the things. Because I found now that I go back to the same two or three pins over and over. So even though I have like 20 pins, I don't use most of them. I go back to the same tray over and over and over. So even though I have like 10 or 15 different kinds of trays, I use the same ones over and over and over. I've, because of the move, pared down my storage to the ones that I basically used the most and got rid of all of the rest of them. But part of the push for me to get rid of the stash is because I do feel guilty sometimes about how much plastic waste I'm contributing. Most of my diamond paintings don't go anywhere but in a portfolio. I have framed some, I have gifted some hang in my house, some don't, but the majority of them just get stored in a portfolio. You know, when I die, are there going to be like 20 portfolios for my kids to just dump in a landfill because they don't want any of my diamond paintings? I mean, I try to be environmentally conscious in other ways, but I do feel guilty. Am I doing enough to offset the plastic waste I'm creating with all my diamond painting? And in the scheme of things, is my diamond painting going to do a whole lot? No. But at least I'm trying. I try in other ways to make up for this. I got to justify it to myself. There is some guilt there in if I was cross stitching or crocheting, I would have blankets or something usable at the end. Not that this isn't usable. I could frame it and give it to somebody, but at the end of its life, that blanket is going to break down. This plastic is not. So it's something I do think about. And it is something that has been a little bit behind my push to get my stash down to a more sizable level to where I can be like, okay, this is manageable. I can do this many kits and still, do you know what I mean? And not that I think having a stash has gone out of style or that I'm trying to shame anybody for having a large stash. I'm not. You do you, as I say. If you like having a very large stash and that makes you comfortable, then you do that. I have reached the point where I'm not, and so I need to make some changes. So yeah, I think that was probably a very rambly video. I apologize. I know I jumped around kind of from topic to topic, but like I said, some things that I had never thought of that I was like, because I don't consider myself an influencer and I don't do a lot of those things. I mean, I did when I first started out have like some affiliate codes and stuff, but honestly, nobody ever used them, so it was kind of pointless to have them anyway. Maybe I just hadn't been doing this long enough, and maybe now they would be more useful, but now I'm to the point where I don't want to do them. Okay, so I got a little bit done. I'm almost done with the ivy and the leaves here. I'm really loving these little green fairy dust drills. I hope I have some of these left over. But yeah, I'm hoping to finish this in the next couple of days. We'll see if I can manage that. I don't know if I will or not, but I'm going to try. So maybe soon you'll be seeing the completion of this, and then I can move on to another kit, because it does feel like I've been working on this one forever, even though I started it and then moved to something else and came back to this one. Again, the point of this video was not to cause any more drama. It was just to kind of share with you my thoughts. For instance, like I said, it never occurred to me that you could just get directly paid by some of these companies, even though it should have. I just don't think about some of that stuff sometimes. I'm over here in my own little world, diamond painting and doing things that I think are fun. So if I missed anything or you had a specific question about something, leave me a comment down below. I'll be happy to answer if I can. That's it for me today, guys. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.